Good morning and welcome back. I need you to stop what you're doing right now because what I'm about to share with you could genuinely change the way your face ages from this point forward. I'm Dr. Thomas, and in my 28 years of practice, I have seen thousands of patients walk through my door convinced that wrinkles, sagging skin, and that tired, aged appearance were simply inevitable. They believed it was just genetics. They believed it was just time. And they were wrong. Here is what the billion-dollar skincare industry does not want you to hear. The most powerful anti-aging intervention in the world is not a cream, not a serum, and certainly not an injection. It is sitting in your grocery store right now, and it probably costs less than $5. A landmark study published by researchers at the University of California, Davis found that specific dietary compounds reduced visible skin aging markers by up to 43% in adults over the age of 65 over the course of just 12 weeks. 43%. That is not a rounding error. That is a transformation you can see in the mirror. Now stay with me because number 2 on today's list is something that nearly every senior I've spoken with is already eating, but almost no one is eating it the right way at the right time in the right combination. And when you fix that one simple mistake, the difference in your skin is remarkable. I have seen it in my own patients. I will tell you their stories today. Before we dive into the full list, I want to ask you something directly. Drop your age in the comments below right now and tell me, what is the one skin concern that bothers you most? Is it the deep lines around your mouth? The crepe-like texture on your hands? The loss of that firmness you used to have? I read every single comment on this channel personally, and your answers genuinely shape the content I make for you. So please take 5 seconds and leave that comment. It means more than you know. Today we are counting down from 5 to 1, ranked from powerful to absolutely extraordinary. And by the time we reach number 1, I think you are going to look at your next meal very differently. Let us begin. Coming in at number 5, and do not underestimate this one because of its placement, we are talking about wild-caught salmon. Now, before you say you have heard this before, I promise you there is a layer to this story that almost nobody is telling seniors specifically, and it has to do with something called mitochondrial aging. Your mitochondria are essentially the power plants inside every one of your cells. Think of them like tiny engines. When you are young, those engines run clean and hot. But after the age of 60, mitochondrial efficiency begins to decline, and that decline is one of the primary drivers of visible skin aging, loss of elasticity, and that dull gray quality that creeps into the complexion over time. Wild-caught salmon is one of the richest sources on the planet of a compound called astaxanthin, a carotenoid antioxidant that crosses directly into skin cell mitochondria and essentially gives those engines a tune-up. Research from Hokkaido University in Japan found that astaxanthin supplementation improved skin elasticity by 64% and reduced the depth of crow's feet wrinkles by 52% in women over 60 after just 8 weeks. Now pair that with the omega-3 fatty acids in salmon, specifically EPA and DHA, and you have something that actively suppresses inflammatory pathways in skin tissue. Inflammation, or what researchers now call inflammaging, is the slow, silent fire underneath every wrinkle on your face. Here's the practical guidance. You want wild-caught Pacific salmon, not farmed. Farmed salmon contains dramatically lower levels of astaxanthin because it comes from synthetic feed rather than the natural krill and algae that wild fish eat. Aim for 2 to 3 servings per week, roughly 4 to 6 ounces per serving. The best preparation is gentle, baked or poached at lower temperatures because high heat oxidizes those delicate omega-3 fats and you lose much of the benefit. And here is your synergy tip. Eat your salmon alongside leafy greens dressed with olive oil. The fat in olive oil dramatically improves the absorption of fat-soluble astaxanthin. Your skin will thank you within weeks. I had a patient, Margaret, 71 years old, from Boise, Idaho. She came to me deeply self-conscious about what she called her fish face, the hollowing and wrinkling around her cheeks and mouth that had accelerated in her late 60s. Within 10 weeks of switching to wild salmon twice a week with the preparation methods I just described, the texture of her skin had visibly improved. Her daughter noticed before Margaret did. That is usually how it works. Moving to number 4, and this one surprises almost everyone. Dark leafy greens, specifically spinach and kale, but not in salads. Here's what nobody tells you. After the age of 70, your body's ability to absorb certain micronutrients through raw food sources drops by as much as 40%. That is a staggering number. You can be eating perfectly and still be nutritionally deficient in the very compounds your skin needs most, simply because you are eating them in a form your aging digestive system cannot fully process. The secret is light cooking. Lightly steaming spinach or kale for 2 to 3 minutes breaks down oxalic acid, which otherwise binds to the calcium and magnesium in the leaf and prevents absorption. But more importantly, for skin aging, heat gently releases lutein and zeaxanthin, two carotenoids that Harvard researchers have linked directly to skin hydration and UV damage repair in adults over 65. A study from the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health found that adults with the highest dietary lutein intake showed 37% less skin wrinkling in sun-exposed areas compared to those with the lowest intake. Here's the deeper aging-specific mechanism. After 65, your skin's natural production of hyaluronic acid, the molecule responsible for keeping skin plump and hydrated, declines by nearly 50%. Leafy greens rich in vitamin C and folate directly support the enzymatic pathways that produce hyaluronic acid from within. Think of hyaluronic acid like the water-retaining cushion beneath your skin. When it depletes, the skin above it collapses inward. These greens help refill that cushion from the inside. Your practical target is 1.5 to 2 cups of lightly steamed spinach or kale per day. And your synergy tip here is critical. Always add a small amount of healthy fat, whether that is olive oil, avocado, or even a soft-boiled egg on the side. The fat-soluble carotenoids in these greens are essentially invisible to your body without fat present. This is not optional. It is biochemistry. Now, between items 4 and 3, I want to pause and ask you a quick favor. If you are finding this information genuinely useful, and I hope that you are, please hit that like button right now. It takes less than 2 seconds, and it helps this channel reach more seniors who desperately need this information and have never heard it. And if you have not subscribed yet, please do. I release new videos every week focused entirely on helping people over 60 live stronger, feel better, and yes, look younger. Okay, back to the list. Number 3 is something I call the forgotten fruit, and it is blueberries. Now I know, you have heard blueberries are good for you. But I want to tell you something about blueberries and the aging brain-skin connection that will completely reframe how you think about this tiny fruit. There is a well-established but rarely discussed link between chronic neuroinflammation, that is low-level inflammation in the brain, and accelerated skin aging. The same inflammatory cytokines that damage neurons also circulate through the bloodstream and degrade collagen in the skin. They are connected systems. Blueberries contain one of the highest concentrations of a class of compounds called anthocyanins of any food on Earth. Researchers at Tufts University's Human Nutrition Research Center on Aging, and I want you to note that institution because they specifically study aging, found that blueberry anthocyanins reduced systemic inflammatory markers by 31% in adults over 65 after just 6 weeks of daily consumption. 31%. And separately, a study published in the journal Nutrients found that blueberry consumption increased skin collagen density measurably in postmenopausal women over an 8-week period. Here is the aging-specific reason this matters so profoundly. After the age of 65, your skin loses approximately 1% of its remaining collagen every single year. That might sound small, but compounded over a decade, it is catastrophic for skin structure. Anthocyanins work by blocking an enzyme called collagenase, which is essentially the biological scissors that breaks down your existing collagen. Blueberries do not just add collagen, they protect the collagen you still have. The practical recommendation is simple: half a cup of fresh or frozen blueberries daily. Frozen is perfectly fine. The anthocyanin content is actually well preserved in frozen berries, and sometimes even more bioavailable than fresh berries that have been sitting in a warm grocery store. Your synergy tip: pair blueberries with a small handful of walnuts. The vitamin E in walnuts works alongside anthocyanins to provide what researchers call a dual antioxidant shield against UV-induced skin damage. Robert, 77 years old from Chattanooga, Tennessee, came to me after his wife passed and he had been living alone, eating poorly, and feeling like his face had aged 10 years in 2. We made very targeted changes and blueberries were part of his daily routine. After 8 weeks, Robert told me he looked in the mirror one morning and said out loud to himself, "There I am." That moment still moves me. Food is not just chemistry. It is dignity. Number 2, and I told you to watch for this one, is bone broth. And what I'm about to tell you is not what you read on wellness blogs. This is the cellular level story, and it is one of the most compelling pieces of anti-aging nutrition science I have encountered in 3 decades of medicine. After the age of 60, your gut lining begins to thin. The cells that line your intestinal wall, called enterocytes, replicate more slowly, and the tight junctions between them become more permeable. Scientists call this intestinal hyperpermeability. In plain language, your gut develops microscopic leaks. Those leaks allow low-grade bacterial toxins called lipopolysaccharides to enter the bloodstream. Once in circulation, lipopolysaccharides trigger a systemic inflammatory response that hits the skin hard. This is one of the most underappreciated mechanisms of facial aging in people over 65, and almost no dermatologist is talking to their patients about it. Bone broth contains high concentrations of glycine, proline, and hydroxyproline, the three amino acids that are the literal building blocks of collagen. But more importantly, it contains gelatin, which directly coats and soothes the gut lining, helping to seal those microscopic leaks. A study from the University of Nebraska Medical Center found that regular bone broth consumption measurably reduced circulating inflammatory markers associated with gut permeability in adults over 65. And a separate clinical trial published in the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry found that collagen peptides derived from bone broth sources improved skin hydration by 28% and reduced wrinkle depth by 26% after 12 weeks of daily use in women between the ages of 45 and 75. Here's how to use it correctly for your age group. You want to consume 8 to 12 ounces of properly made bone broth daily, ideally in the morning on an empty stomach, because this is when gut absorption is most efficient and when the glycine content will do the most repair work. Look for broth that gels when cold. That gelatin formation is how you know there is sufficient collagen content. If your broth stays liquid in the refrigerator, it has been over-diluted, and the collagen content is likely too low to be therapeutic. Your synergy tip: add a small squeeze of lemon juice to your broth. The vitamin C in lemon is a necessary cofactor for an enzyme called prolyl hydroxylase, which the body uses to stabilize collagen fibers after they are assembled. Without vitamin C present, the collagen your body builds from bone broth amino acids is structurally weak. This is why sailors in the age of exploration developed scurvy and their skin fell apart. You need both the amino acids and the vitamin C working together. And now, number 1. The most powerful anti-aging food I have ever encountered in my clinical career. The one that, when I explain the full mechanism to patients, genuinely changes their relationship with food. That food is avocado, and specifically avocado consumed in a very targeted way that almost no one is doing. Let me explain why this extraordinary fruit sits at the very top of this list. Researchers at the University of California, Los Angeles conducted a 16-week controlled trial in women between the ages of 55 and 75. Those who consumed one whole avocado daily showed a 9% increase in skin elasticity in the cheek area and a statistically significant reduction in forehead wrinkle depth compared to the control group. But here is what makes that finding extraordinary. Those results were achieved without any other dietary changes. One avocado every day, 16 weeks. The mechanism is multi-layered in a way that makes avocado uniquely suited to the aging body. First, avocados contain a rare compound called polyhydroxylated fatty alcohols found in almost no other commonly eaten food, which have been shown to modulate gene expression in skin fibroblasts. Those are the cells responsible for producing collagen and elastin, essentially instructing them to behave like younger cells. Think of it like sending a memo to your skin cells that says, "Go back to doing your old job." Second, avocados are extraordinarily rich in biotin, lutein, and vitamin E, all of which are critical for skin barrier function. After the age of 75, your skin's barrier function, its ability to retain moisture and defend against environmental damage, declines by approximately 35%. That number is from research conducted at the University of Tokyo's dermatology department, and it explains why skin feels so much drier and more fragile in the late 70s compared to even 10 years earlier. Avocado's fat-soluble micronutrient profile directly supports barrier restoration. Third, and this is the piece that makes avocado uniquely irreplaceable, is something called anabolic resistance. After 65, your body becomes progressively less efficient at using dietary protein to build and repair tissue. This is why seniors can eat adequate protein and still lose muscle. Avocado contains specific lipid compounds that have been shown in research from the Mayo Clinic to partially reverse this anabolic resistance by improving insulin sensitivity at the cellular level. When your cells respond to insulin more efficiently, they take up nutrients more effectively, including the very collagen-building amino acids in items like bone broth and salmon. Avocado is, in a very real sense, the key that unlocks the benefit of everything else on this list. Here is your practical protocol: one whole ripe avocado per day. The ripeness matters because it affects fatty acid composition. Eat half in the morning and half with dinner to maintain steady circulating levels of those polyhydroxylated fatty alcohols. Your synergy tip is the most powerful one I have given you today. Pair your avocado with tomatoes. Tomatoes are the richest dietary source of lycopene, a carotenoid that independently reduces UV-induced collagen degradation by up to 33%, according to research from the German Institute of Human Nutrition. and lycopene absorption increases by over 300% when consumed alongside the fat in avocado. This combination, avocado and tomatoes, eaten together, may be the single most evidence-based anti-aging meal pairing that exists in nutritional medicine today. Dorothy, 79 years old, from Savannah, Georgia, started this protocol after years of feeling invisible. She told me she had stopped looking in mirrors. After 14 weeks of incorporating all 5 of these foods consistently, with avocado and tomatoes as her daily anchor, her daughter flew in for a visit and cried when she saw her mother's face. Dorothy told me, "I feel like I got some of myself back. I am telling you that story because data matters, but stories are why we keep going." All scientific references for everything discussed in this video are linked in the description below. I encourage you to share them with your doctor and have an informed conversation about your own nutrition. Let me leave you with this. You did not reach your 60s, 70s, or 80s by being fragile. You are here right now watching this, which means you have not stopped caring about your health, your appearance, and your quality of life. That matters enormously. The science is clear that it is never too late for food to change how your body functions, how your skin looks, and how you feel when you walk into a room. Aging is not a defeat, but surrendering to myths about aging, that is optional, and I hope today you have chosen not to. Your independence, your vitality, your ability to recognize yourself in the mirror, those are worth fighting for with every meal. And today you have 5 powerful new tools to do exactly that. If you found this video valuable, please subscribe to this channel right now because every week I bring you this level of research-backed guidance specifically designed for your age group. And before you leave, tell me in the comments, which of these 5 foods are you going to add to your routine first? I will be reading every reply. I will see you in the next one. Take care of yourself. You deserve it.